This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, Ron. So I'm gonna call the meeting to order at 6:10. Sorry, we were a little late. Traffic. Joe is on his way, as I think is Jacqueline, but we can get started. Um, Alrighty, let's go. All right, building permit fees. These were the ones that I circulated, I think, before the last meeting. They all, I think everybody was in agreement with everything except the one that you were,
The demo one?
the demo one.
Yeah, I'm not so much just in disagreement with it. It just, I think it just noted that it seemed potentially a little bit low for a large project. I think what I was trying to get at is sometimes when that demo fee is wrapped in where you're doing a tear down rebuild, and those different individual amounts get included. But if you're doing something smaller, like a small shed or a small deck or something, um, that 200 would probably be applicable, but maybe something more for like a full house tear down if you're not incorporating it into the rebuild automatically. So if you're doing a tear down and letting it sit and waiting for permits or plans, maybe something a little bit higher, because typically in my experience you do like a prorated based on square footage kind of thing. So
like a 200 to 400.
yeah, like maybe
I think
one
we should.
for
I think
each, but I mean I'm not in disagreement.
our number was very low to begin with.
Yep.
I compared all these numbers
Yep.
to other villages. The thing that's tough with other villages in Brookhaven is that everybody does them every. There's no standard format,
Yeah.
and a lot of them do it based on the cost of
Permit costs, like a percentage.
a percentage of the bill.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is
And then
probably
everybody also
significantly higher.
Yeah.
Then
everybody also has, sorry to jump in, everybody also has different overhead too.
Right.
For building apartments and stuff. So
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to gauge. So like I said, I'm not in disagreement with it. It was just a suggestion for a larger project potentially, just to kind of toss around. But I mean, I think that's a significant jump.
Yeah, I think I like the idea. So just for the record, there's not a lot of changes, but I'm going to read off what the changes are. So additions, alterations, the proposed would be 125 to 150. Certificate of occupancy would go from 25 to 50. Everything else down that line within the application type would stay the same. Retaining wall, we're going up from 125 to 150. Same thing with the CO for that. And then it's really the whole the plumbing, construction, demolition. It's all just the COs that we're raising them all. Some of them were 50, leaving them 50, and then all the ones that are 25 we're bringing up to 50. I didn't mark this, but the generator one, I don't know about the generator one, but I think that all the COs should be 50, just to keep it consistent for Village Hall. And solar energy, we didn't have a number, so we placed a number of 150. The other things, we'll go back to demolition last.
The demolition was going from 25
to 200, but I think Jeremy's point, I like the idea of having two under. If you're building a shed, you shouldn't be charged the same amount as somebody who's building a 4,000 square foot home. So, I mean,
but if you're building a home, you're not paying just the 200.
No, it's getting rolled into all the other fees that you're paying. So, but if you're building a shed, you're not just paying the demolition fee. You're also paying the building fee for something for a smaller
additional
size, right? Under. But I mean, we broke it up there, so I think it would make sense to break it up. So, do we do under a certain thing at 150 and over at 250?
I think you could do, like, if you wanted to do it that way, I think like 500 square feet would probably be a decent number, because once you get over 500 square feet, that's a pretty significant structure you're putting in.
So do you want to do 500 and
below 150?
below, make that 150, and then above anything over 500, we're gonna do 250 or 200.
250.
250?
For what
250?
given rates are, yeah. I think that's
Okay.
fair.
Let's do that then. And then the next, all the other numbers, we've got flood damage, that line item went 100 to 150, paving 150 to 200, dry wells 100 to 150. We took road opening out because uh, the road opening is usually involved with the town, the PSC, sorry, the utility company,
To
and
tie into
it.
Yeah.
So we just took that off because that's almost tricky because sometimes the road opening doesn't even pertain to the resident, even though they're asking for it, it's the utility. So
And
that,
we have gas. I mean, we already have gas connection in here, so you're already getting. I mean,
yeah,
to your point, you're kind of already covering a fee for that project, right?
right.
At least, so
Although I
for
mean,
the
just
inspections.
as a side thing, I mean, in the future, the road opening, Dave has recommended that we kind of revisit that with the utilities, but I think this should come, I think if we take it out here,
Mhm.
maybe we circle back to see what our policy is for road openings for the utility companies. If they have to pay a permit, there should be a bond in case they damage our roads.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know the details of what that is,
Mhm.
but I think maybe that's something we can,
Yeah, I think if we,
I
go
don't, I
back
think
and
we can
look at
take it out of the residents.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
And then go back and look at the
Look at how we're doing it with the,
the application process, and we'll
Mhm.
determine whether or not that's going to be need to be revisited.
okay.
Looking at the application.
Right.
I would agree. Yeah.
All right, so that's really, we're gonna just change the one to generator, the CO, we're gonna make it all consistently 50, and then we're gonna do the demo under 500, 150, over 500, 250. And that's it, those are the changes. Good?
Yes.
All right. So that is done. All right, Village Hall cleaning bids. Our cleaning service has retired and we have some new bids for cleaning, which Jess has. Okay, here we go.
So how often does the cleaning service come? Just once a week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once a week. These are the bids we got. Yeah, all
You
right.
could.
So we got 5 bids. We got Manhat CL cleaning services. The deep clean would have been $995. The weekly clean would have been $645 per month. Shore to shore cleaning provided a quote for weekly clean of $419 per month. Overturn cleaning quoted a deep clean at $325 and a weekly clean at $145 per week.
So that comes out, if it's a 40, we should be comparing like either everybody monthly or everybody weekly.
Yeah. 580, right? 580 for the month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then clean to perfection was $330 for a deep clean. Weekly clean was $126 per week.
504.
And then cows was $120 for the deep clean and $80 per week.
Which they matched.
Which matched what
We had now.
That's what
Big
we,
Gang was.
that's what we had budgeted. So this number is what we,
Yeah, no, 320. Yeah, yeah. I was just thinking. I wonder if these. I mean, I'm sure it's marginal, but if the per month if we're doing it. I'm just doing it on a 4-week
That's
calculation.
equal to how much.
So
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, there's
So
two,
maybe
it's
it's not exact.
two months a year, that's
Yeah.
5 weeks.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
have to
but for the
you
month,
have to extend it out a year and say, okay, this is what the really cost is gonna be, but
for
as
argument's
soon,
sake.
the last one's gonna be the most
I think the last
economical.
one's the,
And I'm gonna say, how hard is it to clean? If it's garbage, the back.
Yeah,
it's not,
the
it's not terrible, but it needs to be done.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you have to clean the back.
No, I mean, I think that they came in and we actually used them to do it temporarily before we're voting, and they've been okay. They've been doing pretty good, right? Yeah, because we needed to get it cleaned. This happened in, what, the end of July?
Yeah.
Right. So,
It's always something.
We have to award the contract, but we did let Powell's clean temporarily in the interim so that we're not sitting in pots of dust right now. So I mean, I see what you're saying with the 5 week, but
Yeah, I mean, I think it's marginal though compared to what the like overall differences in the prices are. So,
yeah,
I mean, you feel like they've been doing a good job.
yeah.
Okay.
I say we go with that at least for now and give them the rest of the year as a contract.
Is it a 1 year? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that. What else? Local, oh no, this is, here we go. Oh no, okay, so boat mooring fees, village hall cleaning, I got boat mooring fees. Now, what was that? Do you remember?
Right now, there's $75.
And the last time we went through, this is the time, just so you know, because you haven't been on the board. So annually, we have the fees that come around, and we typically don't raise them every year. We try to like stagger, so there'll be like moorings, boat rack, parking, the things that we charge in the summer. We'll do that. I don't know when was the last time we did the building fees, quite a while ago. So it's not an annual thing.
Yeah.
So last year we did boat racks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we brought that up. Boat moorings hasn't gone up in like yeah, it's been a number of years. So that's why the parking, I just didn't even include it because everybody likes the $5 or whatever, and we stick to that, and that's just really just paying for the sticker.
Right.
And
Let's not start that.
yeah, so the only one was boat moorings, which was
$75.
75. So per season, I think. I mean, 85, 100. I think we should go up a little bit just because, just to follow suit. Yeah.
It's been 4 years. 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, I think I have it. Hold on, I'll tell you because I have it written down somewhere. Let me see what my notes are. 2021 was the last time we revisited, and it was 75. It went from 75, from 50 to 75. So, I mean, I'm okay with 100. Yeah. All right. So let's make that 100. Okay. So, village policy review is speaking to the point of what I had just said with the street opening. So we have a binder full of policies that we create. Some of them go back to when Joe Newfield was clerk, and we have new people. I think I'd like to do this over the next year, is to kind of, between all of us, maybe everybody takes a policy and reads through it and marks it up just to make sure it's current and it makes sense, and we don't overwhelm each meeting with revising all the policies. Like maybe we all take a policy and we just touch base, policy. Everyone touches base on the policy. Some of the newer ones, I don't even think we need to look at if they're like a year old. But I think the ones that the last time that they were looked at is 5 years
5
ago
years
or
plus,
more. I
yeah.
think we should pull them and everybody take their time reviewing them.
Yep.
So,
And like a quick
Cliff Note read, and then everybody just, who's got this policy, just touch base. Does it look good? What do you want to change? And we can kind of just roundtable it over the course of this year. So I'm going to go through it, find all the policies that are more than, what do you think, 4 or 5
I
years?
think 5 is probably a good starting point.
Yeah, and we'll
Start
start
with that.
we'll start
Yeah.
we'll start
You might have
we'll
twice
start.
as
You know
many.
what? I'll grab the 5 oldest
Sure.
and split it next time we meet, or I'll just do it via email. I'll give everybody a policy,
Give some
and
time to look over it.
and we'll look at it, and then the next meeting maybe we'll just do that. All
I
right.
like it.
Okay. So that's policies. Halloween protocols. Okay, so, 2 mayors ago, they used to have curfews. Then we had COVID. There was really nothing going on. Things got very quiet. Last year, we had uh, some vandalism that happened. Um, what? Halloween night. Yep. It's the usual. It's not. I mean, it's the usual teenagers, but they actually did a number on somebody's bench. It wasn't just eggs and silly. They were actually there was some damage done. So the question is, do we? And we always have code. We have code on to. He's usually got 2 people on for that. But do we bring back a curfew where we suggest that after 9?
Is that with the time of that?
I think it used to be 9.
But not by 9 o'clock, then there's no trick or treat.
And I don't want them to have to enforce it on like if it's 9:15 and there's a family with 2 4-year-olds, wrap it up.
That's not happening.
I think wrap it up. But I think if we put out a message asking
People will be a little bit more
parents,
thoughtful at the time.
and they think of it, yeah. So
I think less. I mean, I think anytime you put it out there, people get defensive. But I like the recommendation of putting
so
like a time limit.
so let's not say a curfew,
Yeah,
but
just
a
like
suggested
suggestion. Yeah,
a
it's like
suggested.
just for safety, for like we'll recommend, suggest, or ask that based on at this time, we start wrapping up, winding down.
And maybe we even do the whole thing with the porch lights, like if you don't want the computers.
Okay, suggested time. What time do we want to make it? 9.
So the times comes back, right? So
What day
it's
is it?
going to be it's a Tuesday this year. I think it's a Tuesday. So it starts getting dark around. Well, I think we have the fall back before that.
No. Fall back is the Yes, the first weekend.
Okay. So
It'll be dark by 7:15, 7 o'clock.
So I think 9's good.
Yeah, I think 9's good too.
Nine's
You're gonna
good.
you have the teenagers, and again, you don't want to exclude them from trick or treating.
Right. Okay.
And
So let's do 9.
I don't think that 9's a late time.
No, let's do 9, and let's do what was the porch lights? If
you prefer not to have trick or treaters after, you can turn your porch lights off. Or, please respect if someone turns their porch lights off. There's some kind of wording with that.
okay, turn the porch lights off when trees are
Like if you have
gone.
young children, you don't want
Yeah,
people
you don't
knocking
wanna
on
be
the door, then you
disturbed.
just say, okay, well, not gonna have,
Okay.
it's not gonna be welcome.
Okay. All right. Next, new picnic tables for California Park. So I got some quotes because we got a lot of good feedback on the stuff at Walnut, and we had 2 really horrendous. You know which ones? Those gray ones that were like they were wood and they were just. They looked like They actually looked like petrified. They were actually becoming petrified.
They were starting to come back in the style.
Yeah, they were. So they
we
were
leave them there for another like 7-8 years. They're going to be back in style.
Yeah.
I swear.
So those are gone. We got rid of those because I was hearing splinters. So we got rid of 2 of those. Dave cut them up after the barbecue, and they went away with the dumpster. So I'm thinking I'd like to get 2 new ones
To replace those.
to replace those 2. So we have the same amount. Hi, Joe. No worries. Jacqueline's on her way too. She's stuck in traffic. Okay. So what were the prices? We got 2 prices for that.
2 prices. New line, it was a total of $2,885.75. And then the quote from Poly Products was $1,256.40.
Oh my God, that's a big difference.
And
It's the same exact product?
very similar, but the Poly product is the one that's down there.
That's a 2885.
No, the 1256.
Oh, because the Walnut Beach ones look great.
They do look great.
They've held up wonderfully in the weather. He said, I think that they are here to stay for many years.
This is actually the manufacturer who sells them because I kind of went back. So I found the
You
actual.
don't have the middle guy.
I don't have the middle guy. So I think Uline is, they're very similar, but I think Uline is the middle guy. This is, and they were great. They shipped them. There's always a delay. They take a long time because I think they probably,
They have the price we can.
yeah, yeah. Well, so I think two.
Does that include shipping?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, because I say it's not, let's find that out,
Yeah.
because Uline's not, doing shipping, and they
No.
are.
No, they are. So I think if everyone's good, I'm gonna order two of those. I think I'm just gonna order them now and have them put down there because we've got the whole fall. People are still going down there.
People go down there for Christmas.
Yeah.
People always going down to California Park. I don't.
Okay.
We can fit them in the budget, I think.
Yeah, we can. We can. So we're gonna do that. And Dave is actually gonna be painting. I did a color match. So the last one at Walnut, the one that they pushed off to the side that had somebody's plaque on it, he's actually gonna paint that to match the other ones because we didn't want to get rid of it because of the plaque. So he's gonna paint that, try to repurpose it for at least the rest of this season, maybe next year, and then we can see about what the pole
The person's
plunge.
name that has the plaque. Do
They asked. They got permission
plaque.
10 years ago. It's an old
Do they
thing.
want? Did they want to contribute to the painting of the plaque of their thing?
I think just we'll just do the right thing and let them have their spot. I mean, I know that there's going to be a push for people to sponsor benches, but this precedes that, so let's just right. Okay, property maintenance. That's what I was throwing. All right.
It's short.
It's short, but
I
it's
remember it being.
well, it's I condensed what we spoke about. So starting at the bottom, holiday decoration removal. We're gonna table that, and
Yeah, we're gonna take it out.
it's too much of a freedom of religion thing, and too much to chase down. So that's out. All right. Thank God, Joe, that you showed up. We'll just shame people, right? So we're going back to this. So I actually edited out in what we changed. Management of garbage, debris, and refuse on resident property. Okay, so this was where we left off. We were talking about having two applications instead of one. The original version had management of garbage, debris, and construction material. And the way the conversation was going was that they are kind of representatively two different things. Because if somebody has a
You know, a permitted project ongoing, and you're having
even if it's not permitted, even if I'm doing, hi girls,
Right.
even if I'm just doing,
you're reflooring.
I'm
Whatever, you've got a
reflooring.
project
I
going
don't.
on.
I'm doing something in my own house, but I have nowhere to put the material. I think that's way different than I literally left a bag of trash in my front yard. I think we have to.
Fine.
Well, I think that's kind of where we were leaning.
I think when we were talking, right, what one person considers trash, another person might not. What someone considers debris, right? So, like furniture, if someone not going to sit on their front lawn for 3 months.
I think that all can be kind of grouped together. I think where there's an issue is somebody having debris that's just broken pieces of a chair versus a stack of tile that the weather changed, they went on vacation, they didn't get to it. I don't know. I think the construction's a different thing, and I think that people who work during the week, I don't know.
We give them
I think
45
the only-
days. We give them 45 days to remove it, regardless of what it is. So unless you're leaving for more than 45 days, you should have your 45 days to cure the situation.
My concern would be less with it'd be more with the enforcement, because just say you walk up somebody's house and somebody goes, well, I'm working on a project. I mean, how do you argue that with somebody who's actually got a project going on? I mean, it has to be something pretty concise that you can
Okay,
force a law to, right?
yeah, valid.
If you see
It's
your
on
neighbor,
number
if you
10.
see your neighbor, if
This
you
is
see your
number
neighbor lay
one.
out, a pile of old wood and
And
they're
then
slowly
they say
working on a
that they're doing
project and you've
something.
got a couple pieces of wood and code comes and gives person A a ticket,
Okay, so we
and
need,
person B says,
Joe, what
I've
do you
got wood
think?
laying out there.
Should all be one lump?
I think that if you're working on the site or somebody is working on the property, they should be still expected to keep it in good condition, organized condition. Some kind of organized condition. If they temporary place, I wouldn't even call it temporary storage, but temporary placement of materials for projects in process, might be okay. But I think they should be in a more orderly manner,
So,
and then removed when the project's over. But there should be, excuse me, sorry, but there shouldn't be like people say, well, and I have this in other villages. I mean, this is
Right.
something I'm bringing up. They have, people shouldn't say, well, I'm working on my family room. 2 years later, I'm working on my family room,
okay,
which is what I do.
yeah,
That's my storytelling.
yeah.
The
All right, I mean, I didn't even think of it that way,
Yeah.
really. I was thinking of giving, I was just thinking that it's two different types of
You're thinking
material.
of household garbage.
I'm
right?
thinking
And then there's- and then there's
of
project.
clear garbage and project work where people may need a little bit, but you know what? It's circling back around to your point. If it's all 45 days and then somebody actually says, look, it's tile, then I guess they could ask for an extension, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you should give them a little bit of time, like maybe a month. But then, if they're not progressing, then
Right.
somehow we have to tell them, I'm sorry, but it's not fair to the neighborhood.
All right.
They're looking at this pile of two records for 3 years, like my neighbors.
If things are progressing, I think that the neighbors are not going to care as much, right? They're going to say,
The
oh, this
location
is
and-
going on.
All right, so then there was, okay, so let's say we're gonna put them back together. So construction material is gonna go, it's
Are
gonna
you,
be,
you're going to put these together, construction 1 and 2?
I'm gonna put management of debris, garbage, debris, refuse on resident property. If we're gonna if we're gonna have the same law, then it's also construction material. It's a little tricky because if how do you do it if somebody's putting in their own, they're changing boards on their deck and they have it delivered? We're giving them 45 days to finish, right? So
Or 40, again, it has to be,
what if
it
you
just
do,
doesn't have to be on your front lawn.
What
you
if
want
you-
to put it in your backyard?
what if can we do something where we have a like we talk about garbage and garbage, debris, refuse, the general garbage, inoperable, abandoned motors, blah blah, and then we have in the law we have a section that says construction material needs to be somewhere, otherwise like if I put construction material on the side of my house versus in the front of my yard, I'm redoing my patio and it's now winter and they right, like there's issues where people will,
That happens.
right,
It starts to snow in November, and
right, and you're redoing your patio and it's done. The ground freezes and you can't go out and put your footings in your deck and it's going to have to wait till spring. So can we do that? Can we add, like, can we consider it all the same lump sum thing, but then give a concession to construction material instead of
I think you can.
keep them
I would
separate?
keep them separate even if you have the same 45 days. But I think it's easier to change one if you want to do that in the future than lumping them all together. The more things you lump together, the harder it is.
So we're just going to give the same
But
time frame?
like someone that needs footings should have a permit. This is stuff outside of permit.
Not necessarily, because they can do their own. They can somebody can pour their own if they can do it and they have a plan and they follow the plan. They can build their own deck.
We need a
But you
permit.
still
You
need
need
a
a
permit.
permit.
You
Oh,
still need a
right,
permit.
right.
So I'm thinking,
Oh, no.
I
I
know they
thought
can do that.
I thought you meant that they needed to have a contractor do it. You're right. Hello, dear.
Yeah, that would fall under the
The
being a
permit.
permit.
And then it
We're-
would be a whole
We're just
separate
talking
thing.
about,
You're tiling your bathroom.
yeah, maintenance, regular maintenance of replacing things that need some upgrading in your house that don't need permits, that aren't major projects.
So should we so then here we have, let's go back to keeping them separate. Management of construction material and debris. I had written from the last time, revisit definition of construction material to include lumber. I don't remember where that came from, truthfully. Establish timeline and placement. So then we had said timeline and placement. So we keep the same 45-day timeline and just have a specified placement, that it needs to be neat and up away from the front of the house, or
Yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah, yeah. So, yes. You gonna say something? Go ahead. So one of the things that we're dealing with is that the building permit process, because I think building permit is good for a year, right? So when people get stuck, like sometimes the builder starts a project. I've had this happen. The builder starts a project, and then they stop, because they're sick, their family's sick, they have to work on something else, whatever it is. So different things happen, but the building permit kind of gives them a year. Right. Otherwise, we would issue building permits for 2 months. We would say, well, we want you to show us in 2 months.
right.
But we don't. We give them for a year. So, I think that's a couple things that we have to do. But I think that maybe we could put in that if work is not in progress, that material. First of all, we're not talking about debris and garbage and debris and rubbish. They have to be removed to the front. They can't be on the property.
That's what we want.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why it has to be separate.
Yeah, so the guy, if somebody's cutting 8 foot 2x4s down to 1 foot, down to 7 foot 2x4s, they can't leave the 1 foot running around.
Right. Okay.
They have to get rid of them. But then if the construction's actually in progress, I think the materials should be stored on the property while construction is in progress. And if there's a stop in construction, out of the control of the owner, or something for 60 days, say more than 60 days, then the materials,
Deemed garbage.
should be removed or moved to a rear yard,
Okay.
something like that.
Okay.
And then everything should be removed at the end of the building. When the building permit terminates, everything should be removed.
And what if there's no building permit? What if it's not footings? What if it's the person? How do we make that determination? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if the guy's retiling his bathroom and he doesn't need a permit for that. He's just retiling his bathroom. So I think then in that point, if the material's been there sitting, that goes back to your point.
Yeah.
But that goes back to his point. Somebody's just going to say, "Oh, my project's still ongoing. I'm still filing."
what if we just got rid of any kind of construction debris? There's a difference between debris and material, right? You can separate it that way. Leaving material on your property is one thing, because material, when it's dropped, should be bundled, organized, wrapped, right?
Bundled.
Yes, but then it gets open, right? And then someone starts their project, and their tiles still sitting on
Debris
their
is
front
debris.
lawn.
So if
Right.
it's broken tiles or
If
old
broken
grout,
tiles, it's
it's
old,
debris.
roof
But I'm
shingles,
saying,
whatever.
let's say I've got my,
So now we're
I'm
talking
doing
material.
my,
So
I'm
it's separate.
putting, it's just material.
So just think about what you could be doing though, if you actually have material sitting on the side of your house that's unpermitted.
I'm doing my own, I'm putting in my own, okay? That would have to be permitted.
We're changing the cabinets in my kitchen.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be outside necessarily
The cabinets could be sitting on your front lawn
in the summer.
in the summer, in the winter. Oh,
No,
with a tarp.
because they won't be, that would be, because they would,
Yeah, again,
they
the
would be
practicality thing is
destroyed.
the movie. I'd lose my mind if my contractor with my cabinet sitting.
Nobody
on my
would-
patio.
nobody would leave.
It could be the old cabinet.
But that falls
That's
under
debris.
That's debris.
debris.
So
But,
where if you finish
it would have to
removal,
be something that was,
demolition,
for it to be
get
there
rid of
for
it.
an extended amount of time, it would have to be really weatherproof. You can't
So
put
tile, say tile.
tile. So I think it's just a question of, it's not a big problem, but I think what we're trying to do is write it so that
Well,
it's,
what
It's not in.
what if you just, like, yeah, what if you just do 45 days, leave it for like debris, right? Or whatever day you want to pick. And if it exceeds whatever it is, whether it's,
well,
when it comes to material, whether it's a permitted project or not, after X amount of days.
construction material
Construction
that's
material.
still there. So now we're
Just-
going to change the
Has
terms
to be,
again.
it has to be, you can put somewhere else.
Yeah, I think for covered, but I think maybe after 45 days, they have to demonstrate that it's still in progress.
Okay.
Right.
You know, like
This is
I
some
don't want to say
progress.
like a 1 year, but
But
just
there's some
basically
progress.
like a check-in. I mean, you can,
Right,
we
like
can
if someone's
just,
doing it
after
themselves, they
45
might be
days,
doing it every weekend or every
yeah,
other
yeah,
weekend.
materials.
If they
Okay.
can show,
Just
listen,
have
I
to
did
check
this
in with them
wall
and
and
say,
this
hey,
wall
this
next
project's still ongoing.
weekend.
If
Yeah.
it's not,
Okay,
let's
do
move it
that.
to the, let's move it. So just a 45-day check-in
Okay. All right. So,
for
You don't need
for
a permit.
construction
Joe, I'm going to
material.
wind up giving you like a summary of this. And then I guess should we write this now and then circle back because I think this is pretty. I think we're pretty close, right?
Yeah, I think
And then we should look at the actual language next. All right. So let's do leaf.
Or pay that.
No, leaf
Oh, leaf,
cleanup.
sorry. Leaf cleanup.
This one's the tough one because it's very difficult. Oh, then did anybody, I didn't, explore municipalities or HOAs regarding leaf cleanup. No one else did either. That wasn't, it fell off my to-do list. I apologize. Do we want to do that or do we want to?
I thought we,
I mean, I think that's where we left off, that we were going to look into if there's any. Is there any, Joe, were there other villages that
I thought it was gonna be like.
residents should
remove the
clean
leaves
up their
so in
leaves
order
by
not to have
right, but this is
problems with the drains and the.
But this is-
It's not to do that.
but this is a law, so are we going to make a law?
The problem that we said that we brought up on last potential issue is the drains are on the roads, right? So, you know, somebody who just happens to be living in a place where there's a drain in front of their house, you know, trees, and needs that person then become responsible by law to maintain the all the leaves.
No, you would just think it's a different thing to do, like, I threw drains on the street the other night. That's what I did.
Right, but
Okay,
this
so,
is- but
because
this
I'd
is-
rather not have that problem.
But this
like,
isn't
again, I
neighborly.
think everybody,
Yeah, but I think the issue.
but I think we have Dave also to do, that's village property, I think, you can't.
Village
expect someone-
property, the drains is one thing. The question is, are we going to legislate what people do with leaf maintenance on their property? And if we are going to legislate it, how are we going to do that? And
Some people like to keep for composting, so it's just, it's a very,
Oh, yeah, that doesn't matter whose quote leaves they are, it's on your property. Is there some accept, do we want there to be some thing where people are gonna, it's not every leaf has to be up the property, but so that it's.
so
not
is there, do other
aesthetically-
villages?
Yeah,
The
so-
aesthetically not, you know,
Wait.
bring down the rest.
The way I would handle it, like, you don't want to become like the leaf police, right? So
Right,
what I would do is
right.
I would, just combine it with, like, the property has to be maintained
General,
clean condition and free of weeds and debris. And then just put in, weeds have to be removed should be removed by December 15th. It's normally tied to it's often tied to a pickup day, like, cause some villages still pick up weeds, or they put it in as part of their, their, contract with the
Right.
harvest.
They do pick up.
Yeah, so I would, but I wouldn't, so anyway, I wouldn't segregate, I wouldn't have like
A leaf law.
23.1 leaves, no leaves.
Okay.
You know.
just the general maintenance of the
Leaf and
property.
debris, yeah, like no sticks. If the branch falls, you have to eventually pick it up.
Okay. All right, I think I like that better to add it into the general, like,
Overall aesthetics.
overall aesthetics than its own little thing. Okay,
Free of debris.
yeah. All right. Okay, this one we didn't have any real changes with, as far as management of erosion control mechanisms. We had said removal of hay bales on resident property within 30 days. Hay bales during construction should be maintained, replaced, and kept neat and clean throughout the time, throughout the period. That, I mean, I think we're done with that one, right? Okay, then we went into carports, pop-up tents, shelter coverings. We took the permit out. Then I think this was where we kind of went a little wonky as far as what was your suggestion on that one, Joe? As far as I think we were only going to talk about one or two of them, not the temporary carports, pop-up tents, shelter coverings. Like people are building their own shelters, permanent fixtures, permanent carports, and residents are complaining because they don't like the aesthetic of what that looks like.
Well, they do it with building permits, right? But it's permanent.
No, but they're
No,
not doing it. They're doing like
garage. They're putting their cars under a pop-up tent, and yet it's up all year round.
Pop-up is like a party tent that they just now.
no, it's like a plastic carport.
Oh, plastic.
Yeah.
So I would.
And we
would-
don't have a lot
What
of-
you're envisioning is correct, though. It would, yes, a party tent with walls.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Some have walls, some
That's what,
don't.
that's what you're
Yeah.
envisioning. Yeah.
So I would put a look on that, like a month or two. I think that's good.
For anything, whether it's for a car or storage or anything, we just
I think temporary pop-up tents should be temporary. So you have a special event, fine. You have this, if you want to have a structure that doesn't fall under the pop-up tent, right? It's there for 3 years. You can't have a pop-up tent for 3 years. You have
Because
it
if
for
it
your
doesn't-
event, you take it down.
okay. So what's the term?
Well, you said, well,
I'd rather hear your idea.
um,
So I would say that it has to be
But I think
within
it's-
15 days after the end of the event.
right. We said that maximum duration is 5 to 10 days except for special events or gatherings. But even a special event doesn't last for more than 10 days.
I think 15 days is good.
Um,
I think 15 days is
There's
generous.
more than, I think that's very generous.
But I think that says my cousin's visiting and they have a Porsche and they won't leave it in my driveway that has no garage for whatever argument. Okay, your cousin's gonna have to put it somewhere else in 15 days. I mean, I think 15 days covers everything. That's 2 weeks. So this weekend I didn't get around to it, but
It's
next
not business
weekend I
day, right?
did.
It's
Yeah,
family day.
it's 2 weekends.
Yeah.
That gives people 2 weekends after their event to get to take it down and store it, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. All right. So we'll do
I
that.
would say temporary coverings. I would call them temporary coverings. Shelters / coverings.
You had shelter coverings.
Yeah.
Temporary coverings.
Temporary
Slash
carports, pop-up tents, and shelter coverings.
That's good temporary structures.
Can
What? How?
only be erected for 30 days or something. Can only remain for 30 days or
I think 15.
15 days.
Yeah. Temporary. So what do we want to call it? We can't take questions until after the work session. As we take once we go into the. Okay, give us a point. Yes.
In my eyes, the structure that I put up with aluminum poles and heavy canvas is not temporary. It is that permanent.
I consider that temporary.
Then
It's the definition.
I'm not
all
disagreeing,
right.
I'm just,
This is-
and a good point taken.
All right. So what is the term that we're referring to?
So
Temporary.
anything that is 180 days or less.
No. I'm talking, forget about temporary that. I'm saying, what are we going to call it as far as carport pop-up tent? What should we define it as? Temporary covering, period, right? And do we define it? Do we?
Temporary, yeah, right, temporary covering, right.
Okay.
I would call it temporary non-fixed structure.
Non-fixed.
Non-fixed. That's good.
Non-fixed.
That's good. I mean, I think the other thing to consider is that some of these things could pose issues.
Well,
You know,
during,
during a
there's
storm,
safety
if they're
issues
not.
if they're not fixed.
Right.
So that's where you
It's
get
not
into
fixed.
if something's not, the
If
the
it's
whole
not-
issue with a non-fixed structure is that it can be the reason that fixed structures are permitted is to make sure they're attached and anchored and are
Correct.
safe structures, right?
Right.
So if you're putting up a temporary structure, then the concern would be that during a storm, it's no longer a safe issue. Now you expect somebody to take it down if there's a significant storm coming, but but at the same time, you can't plan for
Right.
every windstorm. So
Okay. I think I like non-fixed structure. I think that gives us a good.
Yeah.
All right. Now we've got guidelines for boats and trailers.
So just to
So,
follow,
yeah.
the flip side of that is that something that is, somebody can say, well, wait a second, it's a fixed structure, so it doesn't fall within the definition. You know, I understand that if there's a non-fixed structure, I have to remove it, but it's not, it's a fixed structure, then they need a building permit. Right, anything that it's a little longer period.
But then
But you don't need a building permit once it's built.
Right.
Once it's built, you don't need a permit.
no, he's saying you'd have to have it. You'd have to take a building permit. But if I'm going to create a fixed structure, now it falls under a whole different set of rules.
Yeah,
so this might be, sorry, this might be a question for Cindy or Mike as far as building department, but what if you just, instead of putting the words temporary or unfixed, you put unpermitted?
No, unpermitted is well, but the thing is, you can't get a permit to put up a there.
Well, wouldn't that be the thing? So if you have 15 days, you can't have an unpermitted structure erected for more than 15 days.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I
it
guess
takes out the temporary language, it takes out the unfixed language. And if you need to put something up that you feel justifiably is a safe structure, you pull a permit for it and let the building inspector determine if it's a safe structure or not.
But then I guess so, because then it's going to fall under all the. It's
And
going
the
to fall
building
under all the
inspector-
hurricane codes
then
and
the building
and
inspector would say,
a
no, you can't have this up permanently, so it falls under this.
and
law.
the people
You
who
can't
have a
permit
car
for
park
it.
would have to get a variance and get a garage.
But if you have, but you know, but this is my only question about the permit thing. And so once the construction's finished, so you don't have a permit anymore. Permit closed out and it's over.
No, but if I put up if I'm putting up um if I'm putting up a structure if I'm putting up a carport, let's just say the carport because that's the one that we're getting the most complaints about, right? So I put it up. That's a non-permitted structure. If I want to get a permit for it, it's going to fail because it doesn't have any strapping for hurricanes.
Basically, it's like get rid of the ambiguity of the term of temporary.
Because it's not going to pass. Because once I have it and now I'm building it as a structure, now it has hurricane requirements, all the New York State code. That is not a permittable structure, right? It's not.
You can say if it falls in that category, it can't be up for more than 15 days.
Does that work?
Yes.
There's a solution. That's great because that kind of covers everything.
What about the things sometimes people put in their backyard, like over their deck or their table?
That's not that's lawn furniture. What do you mean?
If you got one that was like screwed into your deck, is that considered?
It's technically supposed to be, it's a fixed structure, it's supposed to be permitted to be attached.
No, that's tricky though, because now we're going to have people have to have permits for their umbrellas.
Not the umbrella, you're talking about an awning that's attached, a pergola in addition.
It's
That's
Usually
actually
four posts.
No, you're saying a freestanding.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you so that is, so here's another one. Right, so you have a patio. You now put what are those grommets that go in so you can put a tent up? It's now fixed into the cage. It's not fixed.
No, it's not a fixed structure.
But the structure, it's,
Is that the same thing as the one that you just said? Even less, the other ones that we
so
put
do
in
we
the
do
ground
an
and not covered
exception
out. The
for,
one that you're saying could blow away.
If something's in place for 180 days, and it's considered a structure that meets a permit, if it doesn't meet code, then it has to be taken care of. That's
So someone could have
background. It's a little more complicated. I have to refresh my memory.
All right.
It's basically that.
so let's circle back to the to the structure, because I don't think we're done yet. Maybe we can get more information on that for
But
the
we can
next
regulate
meeting.
these other things. We can regulate tents and, plastic.
The tents, but I think we want to find out a way where we are covered and we're not, I don't want to regulate picnic umbrellas. I want to address the issues that residents are concerned about without over, let's look at that language, and we're going to come back to this one because I think we need to do some research. All right, let's do guidelines for boats and trailers. So requiring boat and trailers to be registered, and that owners keep them in their backyards. That's suggesting, right? We kind of eliminated the backyard concept, right? Because we had said they can be kept in backyard or driveway at the furthest point from the street. So requiring boat and trailers to be registered, period. Then trailers can be kept in backyard or on driveway at furthest point from the street. Requiring shrink wrap or custom covers, tarps or makeshift covers not permitted, correct? Yeah, requiring shrink wrap, custom covers. I think we have to, requiring shrink wrapping,
Or
covering
covers, period.
covering
Covers are not permitted. They're
must
different.
be shrink wrapping or custom covers, because some people don't even cover them. Some people just leave
That was
them
my next
uncovered.
question.
If they're uncovered, they're uncovered.
Right.
That's
But
what
if
I
they have to be
think.
covered, they can't be.
They can't be tarped and duct taped onto the boat. Right, okay.
So then they could blow away and
We had limiting boat sizes to 33 feet and mandating professional installation of blocks or stands. I don't
What do
know
you mean by limiting both sides, what, to the driveway?
the size of the boat. I don't know about that. Because somebody can have, no, the
No, people have
blocks,
to put in blocks.
no, if somebody, if, I think that's,
That was a safety thing.
I don't know if I want to limit the size of the boat, because somebody could have a huge backyard. I don't know, 33 feet is a pretty huge boat though, isn't it?
It might be big for a driveway though, if you never have to look at
Right.
that, but maybe not in your backyard.
It's a pretty big boat. I mean,
Very
yeah,
Can you do it based on how much space you have?
yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. So I think, given, like, go up and down the street here, a lot of the site, the safety sighting that you need when you drive could be blocked by large, some of the older section, whatever. So people put a 30, I don't think you should limit the size of the boat, but I think that it should be, at least, if you can allow it in the front yard, it should be in the driveway, and it should be, at least 20 feet from the street.
Okay, that's good. All right, let's do that.
Otherwise, you'll have kids
Get
running
back
out
on
in
furthest
yards
point from
and
the
people
street,
see them.
at least 20 feet. All right,
25 feet.
20. Well, I mean, some people don't even have driveways that, I guess, all right, 25 feet.
I don't think it's safe otherwise. I think that's
Okay.
like the minimum safe.
And that's really what the safety issue is.
Well, that's the blocks and stands.
Yes.
Boats placed on blocks or stands need a written affidavit from installer or marine inspector that blocks and stands are correctly installed and do not pose a safety hazard. I think that's important because I don't,
Do you know how much that costs?
I don't know, but I mean, I can call the boat place and see how much that costs, but you can't just put boats on blocks and stands without any, I mean, I think that's kind of a safety issue now.
Well, I think that's what we originally said, it was a
Yeah.
safety issue.
Yeah.
No?
No, I don't, I agree with you. I don't think anybody who doesn't, I mean, so much should be said for winterizing the boat, right?
Well, I'm just saying, some people will bring their boat and they'll have a trailer, they'll have a boat that's like a sailboat, and they'll have a trailer and they'll have it put up on stands, right? But I don't want, if my driveway's here and my next door neighbor's driveway's here and our driveways are next to each other and I'm parking my Mercedes here and there's gonna be a boat here that,
More than
that,
30
that I watched him and his cousin block up. I'm gonna be worried about my car, so I think we have to have some kind of provision as far as blocks or stands. It can be from a marine, maybe not a, I don't know, an installer. Maybe they install it themselves, but they have a marina, a marina inspected just to make sure that it's good, and then they just submit that.
What's this install or?
I mean, if we're pretty big instance, I would say, I mean, what we have to do is maybe do a marketing call down to Marina and see if like this is something that they do, and if so, what the cost is.
Okay.
Because I think I agree, I think it's the right idea.
I mean, they can put it on the.
No, again, I
conversely-
think it comes down to trying to find like something that works for everybody, because somebody pulls like a 10-foot boat out of the water and they like been jacking it up for years.
But they're probably gonna have, the 10-foot boat's probably gonna be on a trailer. Do they really put, do you see people take their?
I know,
10-foot
I don't, but again, I'm just
Okay,
saying
it's
for
not a
something
trailer,
that,
it's not
So
I'm
then
just
do
looking
we
for
do
like
we-
that's
the blocks
easily
are
across
right.
the board,
So
right?
do we
Blocks
blocks or
more
stands?
specific to larger vessels, right?
Okay.
Your concern practically is more for larger vessels, right?
Yeah,
And
you're
somebody
right,
pulling a
you're right,
10-50
because
boat
like
out of the
a
water,
jet ski, I'm not gonna worry about it.
somebody puts that
So
out.
do we just pick a size of a boat, boats larger
And
than
so,
X?
You already
Yeah, I
have,
mean,
you have
you have 33.
No, we
but
took
that's
33
pretty-
off. We
I
took
mean-
that off completely. I'm saying boats on blocks and stands. If you
Greater than
pull
33
your,
feet.
if you and your
25
friend pull your jet ski up on a board, I don't need a licensed installer to come and look at it, because the jet ski isn't
Doesn't
going
build
to
the same.
crash into my Mercedes in a windstorm the same way as a 25-foot sailboat is. It's kind of nuanced.
It is, I mean, like it's something like calm down.
All right, so that's you, Jeremy. You're gonna find out. Let's make sure that it's safe.
Okay.
All right, so we'll circle back to that. Okay, vehicle parking, limiting parking to designated and approved parking driveways or garage in accordance to survey and site plan. Site plans subject to village approval. I think we were good on that, right? That was pretty
that was
simple.
limited, talking on their phone.
People, yeah, and if they don't have parking specified, if they don't have a driveway, because some people don't, they have
They have
overgrown
specified-
gravel,
right.
they have to designate what they consider their driveway, and then the building department approves that, and we have that instead of just park anywhere you want in the front lawn. Okay, time restrictions for garbage at curbside, prohibiting garbage from being placed at curb for more than 24 hours before and after pickup.
So the only, I thought about
I'm
this,
wishy-washy on this one.
Yeah, I would think, I mean, if you're going to put in time frame on it, I would think at least 48, because we have Monday pickup here. And I think it's very reasonable to people do something over the weekend and put their trash out for the weekend. Right?
Like they're going away, like I'm leaving
Yeah,
tomorrow.
going out for the weekend, or I'm having to get together on Saturday, and I put my stuff on the curb Saturday night, but, now Sunday you have one more day, and it gets picked up Monday.
Okay, so I was gonna say, it's 48 hours, the next pickup here, which means that the garbage can will never be, or it could potentially not be taken in. That, and again, that's why I think we talked about the 24 hours. Right, so 24 hours after.
Monday,
that's the pickup
and then
on Monday,
Thursday.
you have to, so you have Wednesday, you have,
Recycling, but that's different.
they're still gonna pick up whatever's there, right? So who's gonna designate which garbage cans are recycling, which garbage cans are?
Well, who's gonna, I mean, if we're doing that, who's gonna enforce this?
Be driving
Well,
around,
again,
yeah,
I
it's
think the
practicality,
only,
be
I
driving
think
around
again, it's
checking
about
garbage
who's gonna
cans.
complain, right? So your neighbor doesn't have this problem and it says, okay, you know what, I'm gonna clean out my garage this weekend and puts everything on the curb on Saturday. No one says anything. You put it out on Saturday, every single Saturday or every Friday, and it's out there until Monday every week, your neighbor's gonna have a problem, right?
So why don't we include this? Why don't
It's
we,
not for the one-off people, it's for something that's out there.
if someone just leaves their garbage outside 20, all right, so
Everybody
then,
decides that
why
they're gonna
don't
put their
we,
garbage
why
down
don't
on the
we,
front lawn,
why
on the
don't we
front of the
raise
house.
this back up into somewhere into the debris management?
That's really what the discussion was for. It wasn't for the one-off, it was for the person that leaves their garbage cans in the front of their house consistently.
But I think we don't have to create a law about garbage cans. I think we can incorporate this into property, into where we're talking about management of garbage instead. So that if you're
You have
man,
45 days. So, exactly.
Joe,
That's the reason we brought it up.
Yes.
Because people were like, well, they go around. And
do
then
villages
they're in
do
the
this?
street, and people have to go around in
Do
cars.
which of these
The garbage,
Garbage can.
regulate how long someone's garbage can is out at their curb.
Yes.
They do?
Yes.
What's this?
One village has, you have to have a wooden, like box at the end of your garage.
Oh, no.
Thing up to hold the garbage cans. And you have to have a mailbox flag on it, and when there's garbage there to be picked up, you pick the flag up.
Oh, no, that's insane.
Oh, you don't want to do that?
No, that's nuts.
Don't give us any crazy.
Yeah, give us a reasonable, because
We can do it and say each one
That
gets a
might be a
permit, and then we can
practical.
say look at the permit fees.
I'm honestly,
But
I'm
here's the thing,
struggling
it
with
is
this.
It is for the animals. Again, you have people that leave their garbage now, and this is, I know a house that this happens. They leave their garbage can out, and every night, I walk by and pick up all the garbage, because every night, people get in there, because they're not in the right, they're out there every day. And that is for the people that live around them, it can be an issue, you know? That's
I
where we
think
started.
I could live with 48, 24. I
Okay,
mean-
we'll split in half and make it 36.
48 hours before the.
48 hours that you can like
The empty cans or the full cans?
both.
It's
Or-
up to you, but it should be some limit, right? So I think usually, the limit is on, bringing the cans in, but.
And leaving them out.
But
So 48 hours to leave them out, 24 hours to bring them
yeah, something like that. I think that's reasonable. Usually there's some kind of combination like that.
All right, can we find out what
But also, I'm sorry, you also,
in. Again, only someone.
also the thing I'm noticing in my neighborhood now is that people are bringing bags. Out.
Okay.
Nobody using cans in, excuse me, fewer people using cans. People are just bringing garbage bags and they're all getting torn up. But it's just the way,
yeah, but people are doing
they
that
don't feel like
because
tearing cans out.
so maybe that's something. I mean, if we're going to do this, that's something too
Consider.
to consider as
But
far
again,
as like,
48 hours, now the garbage will be all over the street. Because the raccoons or
right,
whatever
but we've agreed that this isn't a common thing, right?
Right.
So if I get a violation,
You're not getting about it. You're gonna get
a warning, right, and then
Like a
I'm gonna, I don't know. I mean, to me, 24 hours is too short.
What about if it's not in a can? If it's not in a can, it must be put out the day of the garbage. If it is in a can, it should be 48 hours before the scheduled pickup.
Yeah, they do. I mean, as long as it doesn't get chewed up and thrown all over, but you're right, they usually get ripped up and usually garbage on the street. All right, so cans, we're gonna do cans, a better compromise. If it's in a can, 48, if it's a bag, 24. Okay.
garbage, really the garbage, right?
Yeah,
So
not so
people-
much.
48
not so
cans,
much seeing
24
cans,
bags.
it's more so addressing the issue of having garbage on the road and being torn up.
And then 24 after pickup for collecting it? 24 hours after pickup? Yeah, all right, well, let's leave it like this. Joe, I'm gonna give you all these edits and maybe we can start
We also
writing.
have to leave people, right? When you bag up the leaves, and then people, right, and then now the leaves are all over the street. So.
See, but here's the thing. Here's the thing
Back to
now.
the leaf,
I
now
want
back
the
to the
leaf
leaf.
thing, the leaf thing, but the leaf
That
thing
happens.
presents a tricky situation because our garbage guys sometimes will wait. If they're full, they won't pick up the leaves. They'll cycle back.
Well, usually they have a limit of how many bags they pick up, so they'll pick up 4 bags for each thing, and someone might put out 14 bags, right?
Right, but I now we want them to clean up the leaves, but we want
No,
them
no,
to
no.
haul their
I'm just-
leaves
I'm
back
just
and forth up
Playing
their
devil's
driveway.
advocate, saying, that's just another thing. That's talking about.
That's, yeah, but you just,
I think the leaves stay with us, number one.
yeah, yeah, all right, I agree. All right, so let's take a break from that, because that was exhausting. Okay, so we've got some resident requests, concerns. Emergency tree service, oh, well, that was an old one. We already addressed the emergency tree service on Van Brunt and Sharon. We had to do that as a special meeting because that turned into an emergency, so we can take that off. Okay, so fireworks, we've got, it's quieted down, which is good, but there's been an ongoing kind of concerns about fireworks being blown off at all hours, all days. Honestly, it was escalated around 4th of July. It seems to have quieted down since I put together this agenda a month ago. But there were, I mean, it's to just give you code and Suffolk County's perspective on it. It's very hard to police because you actually have to see them doing it. If they're doing it in their backyard, it becomes tricky. That being said, there's been a lot of Facebook talk and people, I think the residents did kind of their own good job policing the situation because they, the resident squeaky wheel kind of thing worked. So that's it with fireworks. It's quieted down. I don't have much else to say on that. Gazebo refinishing project. I did have a resident who wanted to know if we would entertain a resident initiative to refinish it. Fran and Alex had, replanted it and they kind of brought it back to life. And then somebody else had brought it to my attention saying, what if a group of residents or a resident family wants to just kind of co-op and refinish it? Would we allow it?
We would entertain it. So I think if somebody wants to do that,
Do they need a plan?
I think they need a plan. And I think
How do we know that they are going to do a good job and not wreck it? What do we do, Jeremy? You're the building.
I think it's two parts. I think the first part is that from a structural standpoint, probably needs to just be refilled. You don't just want residents doing anything structurally, right? It's got some parts that need to be addressed, and then you have an aesthetic side of it. So structurally, I think we would need to be more involved and have Mike or somebody take a look at it and see what needs to be done where in that handled
I
in-house.
think they wanted to just aesthetically
Aesthetically,
fix it
once
up.
it's taken care of.
Yeah.
Because there are some
if they
boards.
want, yeah, probably power wash it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, if they come with a plan, I think that's fine
Okay.
to identify what.
So the
how
answer
length
is
of the plan is.
the answer is if they present us with a plan, we will entertain it. Okay. That's true.
Good point.
Okay. All right. So, roads, speeding, and traffic. All right. So we did have a bit of a debacle with the traffic study that Jeremy initiated. It didn't really kick off. It was the equipment was ripped down within probably 2 hours of it going up. So the would have been nice, just to let everybody know what it was. It was a traffic study that could have led to us being able to have tickets issued automatically through, right, through Suffolk County. It's in the works right now in Nassau County. There's, how many, you wanna,
Yeah,
why don't
let's
you
do this.
introduce it, because I don't know, you know more about it than I do.
Which is they're proposing legislation in the state. There's basically not as much there's no defined law regarding issuing of tickets through traffic cameras.
Right.
So it's been proposed. It's being pushed through. NASA has a village that already has implemented it and it's running it. We talked to our attorney and NICOM, and we decided that instead of implementing it right now because of the lack of legislation, we would do a study to see if it's something that's feasible and or practical for a village, and just and to use the data for speeding, for running stop signs, and kind of
It got
okay.
So the good news is
So
we did discover that residents would never go for it. So I mean, unfortunately, we didn't get any data besides that residents were not liking to have cameras in the village. Go.
I think the study was to, like, identify if there is a way to address
The
the
speeding.
issue of the
Well,
speeding.
and that's the next thing. So there's a couple of ongoing topics that keep circling around. One of them is the speed. That one's we can actually lower the speed to 25 miles an hour, and that's an easy fix. Right now with New York State, I think
Can we lower it to 20?
no.
No. You know, are the specific state law that says there's a state law that says that it can't go below 25 except in school zones and bridges. So some places do it in hazardous zone, single lane roads or hazard zones. You know, like dangerous curves, things like that. But
to that point, can I ask you a quick question while you're on that point? So when you're coming down Washington and there's a sign that says 15 miles an hour prior to the curb, is that a recommendation or is that an actual legal sign?
I'm not sure what our code says. The code says 15 minutes.
Then it's legally enforceable. Period.
If it's a hazardous condition, then I think probably it is.
With the smaller, you know, on some of the roads in the village, the roads are very narrow. Are those considered hazardous and therefore could be 20 miles an hour?
It's not really just a narrow road. It's more like a single lane road, or you know, well, I mean, in one lane both directions. Not one lane each direction, one lane both directions.
Or
Right.
around like Chestnut, right?
Yeah.
Around the
Yeah,
corner.
well, like Cedar, I'm really thinking Cedar.
Yeah, a cedar. I'm
The
sorry,
width
cedar.
is-
Yes,
the width
yes,
is-
that's what I
But
meant.
you're
So
talking
not
the
large.
back corner.
the
Yes.
corner of Steve. That might. All right. I mean,
Right,
that's a good spot too. So I think we should definitely go to 25
yeah.
because that's we can do, and then maybe
Identify
if there's any other places that would qualify. Does it have to go through Brookhaven?
No.
No. So how do we determine the hazard? We have
I'm
to.
sorry.
It does, doesn't it?
Because I apologize. Some of our roads are divided down the middle. There's one or 2 points where we have half the road.
Yeah, but that's Van Brunt, and that's not even
Yeah.
not actually that divided. It's only they maintain it up until that one road, which whatever that was that we found out.
Walnut's one way.
No, but he's saying divided roads between Brookhaven, where we would have to get Brookhaven's consent. It's only Van Brunt Manor, and it's only to a certain, it's actually not all the way to the triangle. We found out the hard way that it's further back. That's it. But
That's not
it's
onto
something,
Walnut
it's
and then
something,
same thing
so
with
if,
Baby
can, how do we
Road,
research that?
Research what?
The hazard,
Qualifications. Hazardous qualifications.
yeah, it wasn't
And it
coming
might
out of
just
my
be
mouth.
like Bayview and Cedar, and then we're Walnut and Chestnut.
So is it basically that we would, if, so we can, as the village, reduce the speed limit to 25, but if we wanted to select areas to reduce it further, we would need those
I mean, I'm
sections
supposed to tell you
approved,
that,
but it just should be doing it.
I'm supposed to tell you that you need legislation from New York State
Okay,
to do that,
okay.
but I will tell you from a practical standpoint that municipalities often do that in very specific locations that are hazardous. But not like in 10 different places in the village, you know, like
Like
Just
so we do 25, and then we just in-house discuss areas that we think might be areas of specific concern.
All right, so are we good with 25?
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to go 25.
so you want an area speed limit that's 25.
25 throughout all of what is Poquat, that, and I will give you the area that is Brookhaven and Poquat, but it ends before Sharon. It's up there. Yeah, it's a very small section. We'll just have to address. Well, question. So when we have a sign that says "Welcome to the Village of Poquat," can we put 25 speed limit there if there's
Except otherwise
30
posted.
feet of Brookhaven, if we're on 30 feet of Brookhaven Road? Yeah, okay. All right.
That's what the sign is.
So the other thing, yeah, that's what the new one that one I held off on doing it because I wanted to propose this.
Right.
So here's the other thing. I kind of want to do and I'm throwing it out there for you guys to yay or nay it. I'd like to do an info session with residents because it's always speeding, it's roads, it's stop signs. We didn't really, I mean, we're trying to do this, we're trying to address it, but we haven't actually had, I don't want to do a public hearing, but like speed bumps is always a hot topic. I may have a way of being able to get funding for one or two, maybe a pilot program. I'm looking into it, but I would like to invite residents on a specific date to come in and have a discussion, like we did with the Airbnb, just to hear what people say. Because my experience has been for every person who wants a speed bump, there's somebody who doesn't. But with the Airbnb, I mean, there was really resounding opinions. So I think that if the resounding opinion is we really want to do X, and we can find a way to do that. We can't have them write tickets. We can't have Suffolk County here more than we ask for them to come. I mean, it might be, I don't know, maybe if the speed limit's 25, they might come here more often because they can actually write more tickets. I don't know. But I think I'd like to plan to do a discussion with the residents to just let everybody speak on it.
I think that's a great
Yeah. And I think I'd want to do it one of the, either not on a night like this where we all just sit down, talk for an hour and a half, and that's the whole thing. Maybe do it at the firehouse. Can we do that?
Yes.
Because I think we just need to,
Open
as
session.
as a community,
We need to resolve it.
resolve it or understand that we have limitations. But I think we need to all try.
So I think centralizes
So I-
information if people are really concerned or not concerned.
Right.
Then, it's not people piecing it together.
I mean,
It's only the people, like, only the people that.
if it's
Screaming
really
about it.
truly only 6 people who have a problem,
But I also think we need to, it's almost like a town hall, but I think we also need to understand or at least explain this is gonna cost this.
yes,
So
that's,
we need to
I
coordinate
well, that
this
I
because people
wanted.
to say, I want speed bumps. I'm all for that, because the taxes will go up $45 a year.
Same thing with
And people might
repaving
say
all the
that's
roads.
fine, but then other people might say it's not. So I think that we have to
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't think it's
with,
gonna be something we're doing next month.
financial-
I think it's
Right.
something we need to research. And I might split up the tasks on
I think that's
research so that someone can get quotes for this. I've already got the speed bump. Um, but I wanna find out about the roads. Let's get some true numbers that we could present because everybody wants everything until the taxes are going
But
up
actually,
significantly.
we could implement a program where we start with 2.
I wouldn't do, I mean,
Just
honestly,
to see how it goes.
if we were gonna do speed bumps, I would do 1 or 2, just to
Yeah,
see,
just to
just to
see.
get through. Yeah,
That wouldn't be very expensive. No,
they're
but
expensive.
I'm saying is that I agree with you, I'm just saying is that we should have that information
Yes.
available, to be able to present.
Yes.
Because, again, it's gonna be an open discussion, and people should just be okay with, yes, we want all the roads to be paved. Well, that's,
And we're
but that's
willing,
and that's fine, I'm all for that, but it's gonna cost this,
Right.
right? And how would you like to do it? Do we do it over 5 years? Do we do it over 7? Do we do it, like, how do we do that so it's not a financial burden on
everyone.
everyone?
Right.
Yeah.
So
All right.
I think, I think that, if I could make a recommendation, you might consider speed tables. You might look at speed tables instead of speed bumps.
I
Speed
have
bumps are
been.
like car destroyers.
The speed tables are the big ones that are squared off. There's 3 kinds. There's the speed tables that look like this. Then there's the bumps that are like,
Bottom of the car, with the tables, it's like, we're going up like a little hill, down a little hill.
yeah.
It's a little
So
rough and
they take up more space and are the most expensive, but they are supposed to be. And I already spoke to our plow company, and he said the speed tables are the ones that get the least abuse, unless it's something that you pull up and those little tiny speed bumps. But I feel like, so all right, I'm gonna start kind of thinking about this, but I'm thinking fall of this year we should
Yeah,
try to
yeah,
schedule
for sure,
something
for
next
sure.
month or 2, get some numbers, some real numbers, and I'll email everybody if I need help with researching, and we'll plan it. I don't have a date yet, and I would like to do it when Frank is here, so it would be like a Monday or Tuesday. I want to do it when he's available. All right, so great. Okay, this is quick. This is not going to take a lot of time. Okay, local law edits. I've got 2 issues, very brief. One is for our solicitation, the solicitation law, Chapter 113-10, exemptions to solicitation. We have an exemption that says the chapter shall not apply to any duly organized charitable, religious, corporation, lodge, benevolent, or fraternal order, political organization, nor a local community group or organized such as the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, or any such youth organization or any political party or candidate. So, right, exactly.
Everyone's exempt.
Everyone's exempt, but here's the thing, we have been requiring, not that they, and we can waive fees for charitable organizations and blah, blah, but we have been requiring that they register, because if there's gonna be somebody walking around soliciting for whatever, we wanna know, are they parking in the village? Where are they parking? What's going on? What are they doing? Just to have a general awareness, because we've had issues with very unwanted solicitation in the past. So we have a registration, right? It's an application or registration. So we have a registration for it. So we had one not-for-profit who came through, wouldn't fill out the registration, and then actually got a little bit combative with some residents, the people that they sent around. Yeah, there was a couple of issues with them. They didn't want to do it. I don't think that there's anything wrong with just scratching this whole thing and having everybody register and then waiving a fee. No. But that's not this organized charitable religious corporation. I mean, those are kids. Is there any way to to make people register, but I mean, I guess,
Just do everybody, but just wait for two.
but then a kid who's selling Girl Scout cookies has to register too.
Yeah, but the registration just means you stop on something, do
Like a form.
it.
Make it an online form and just
I
ask
think it's a
people.
good idea because there's a lot,
They had a there were residents who complained, and I always give them money, but I guess whoever they had this year soliciting was not so friendly.
I think it also makes the time, right? They came in the dark.
Yeah, it's
I
right.
remember them coming late at night.
And the fact that they didn't want to do this, we didn't have information on what time, because if they said we'll be doing this between 8 and 10 p.m., we probably would have said no. You got to do this during daylight because you're scaring people, you know. So
But how many girls? I didn't see that labor.
can we do an exception and just let Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts off the list, and they're the only ones who are exempt?
No, then you have, no.
No.
Then you have the high school soccer team. You have the high school cheerleader. Then you have the elementary school.
How many of those
people.
kids go walking around?
I don't think it's up to the fields. I think this is a good purchase and required registration, especially this is.
This organization that's environment for they are given information so they can be combative. They're a big nonprofit that has active and previous lawsuits with villages fighting for that. I mean, so that I think is why they have the chip on their shoulder. I think why they have the attitude, because they are being given the backing to go wherever you want and we'll fight it.
I just don't like the idea of people knocking on your door, being able to just. I'm exempt. I'm here, and I'm going to knock on your door at 9:30 at night while you're going to bed, and I'm allowed to. I think we need to have everybody should register. So let's make the registration simpler.
Well, but now she goes in Jacksonville because a lot of people aren't going to the door necessarily nowadays. And we'll be a burden to the typical Girl Scout, right? A lot of them now go and sell it at shop at.
Well, and the other thing is, honestly, if again, it's always a question of enforcement. I want to be.
My neighborhood Girl Scout.
I'm not ratting out I'm not telling them. But if it's an organization, a bigger organization that has nothing to do with it, no kids in the neighborhood, I want them to register. So let's make it a requirement, and then if a Girl Scout slips through the cracks, I'm gonna turn a blind eye.
The lemonade stand.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I didn't see that. I'm gonna drive like this. All right. The other one is I have a resident who has brought this up a number of times, that as far as residential use of homes, that they feel that we have it in our law that, and this is how our law reads, the offices of professionals such as physicians, medical practitioners, accountants, architects, engineers, and lawyers, the studios of artists and musicians. That's what we have as our example of professionals. So it has been brought up, and rightfully so, that is the professionals that we allow to have a home office. Now, that's not really the case because we have people who are real estate agents, physical therapists. A lot of people work, especially after COVID, work from home. But our law does read in a way that it kind of intones that these are the only professionals who can have an office in their own home.
Okay, but an office
to see clients,
Well, I think that's why this
sign
is,
hanging outside your door?
no, it's no sign hanging outside your door. This is, and I believe that that's probably why it was written this way, because these are the type of professionals who may have clients coming in, right? Like an accountant,
A piano teacher.
right, a musician, an artist, a lawyer, an engineer, an architect. They may have client traffic. So we didn't encompass professionals. I'm thinking we should just say the Office of Professionals, period. And can we do that, Joe? Just say
But they're not
profession.
saying specifically, they're saying such as, but will, which maybe say such as, but will not be limited to.
Right,
I
such
don't know
as,
if that's, it's like I was, at one time, I was a professional painter, so he was technically professional. Right,
Doesn't say but not limited
I
to,
think you have to say, oh,
but not limited to.
such
Yeah,
as,
and
but
then-
not limited to, physicians, because I don't want to list
such
every,
as but not limited to, okay.
such as, but not limited to. Because I feel like this is really discriminatory to say these are the only people who are allowed to have an office in there. I think because I think that, my only guess is that, I
Again,
think,
like, so, I'll give you an example. So, I have a friend that's a nutritionist, right? In my neighborhood, all day long, people coming in and out, and they just complain that now you have a business, you're running a business out of your home, that is now impacting street parking, garbage, all these things that I think we talked,
but we say here, there is no display or advertising in the premises, professional nameplate with a not exceeding two, I mean, we're allowing a certain amount, but we really don't have any such musicians or, I think we have to kind of,
What's the complaint? I
the
don't understand
complaint
the
is
complaint
that there's a contractor
Okay.
who is operating his business, his construction business. It's not my husband, let me just preface this, but it's another contractor.
And when there's too many people going in and
And
out?
they feel that he shouldn't be allowed to because he's not a physician, medical practitioner, accountant, architect, engineer, lawyer, studio artist, and musician, because they feel that this is the definition of professional. Because, and I see the point, because we've given so many, we're almost too specific, because we're saying professionals such as,
But that's not helping the person complaining. The person complaining is saying that there's too much traffic.
well,
from
and
this person,
that's the other thing, is the
and
other,
therefore should not be running a business out of their house.
right.
So I think you should say that, yeah, this has come up a number of voters now that they're prosecuting it, trying to stop. So you should say that there's no commercial vehicles on the property and no storage of material, no staging, storage of materials or commercial vehicles to be parked.
Well, what if I have a commercial vehicle and that's my only vehicle?
We'll have to figure that out. We'll give some kind of.
I mean, like, I'm just saying, I could run a,
Painting company, it could be a painting company, that have a company van that's.
and then it's my only car, I don't have,
That's right.
you know, if I had, I think we would have to limit the amount of commercial
No, I think
vehicles.
that's okay, but I mean, yeah, so
You
no
can't have more
commercial
than one
vehicle.
vehicle, right? That's.
Well, you can't
You can't
have,
have a
you can't have a fleet,
Yeah,
right.
you get
That's
one
fair.
commercial vehicle, one truck
Try to
under.
find
People
Six
are
thousand.
just trying to make a living. I'm not saying a fleet, but maybe two.
You gotta define
I
fleet.
mean, I don't want to be like,
I-
oh, we don't want commercial vehicles. And some poor guy's trying to make a living as a painter. Like, I don't want to be that kind of place. I don't want to be that kind of place.
I don't want to be that kind of place either, but I don't think that having.
Within
you-
reason.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
maybe, you know, I
Maybe
would,
two commercial.
two commercial
Two.
vehicles, something,
Not none.
I would
Under
definitely,
6,000 pounds, and they have to be registered to the owner, and you can't have staging, the employees can't park on the property, things like that. So you can't have, a painter, or a.
so my husband's guys who come and collect their paycheck on Thursdays, they would have to park at California and walk, like, I mean,
Oh,
somebody,
but how long are they staying? They might be all day.
well, they might be there for an hour.
talking about
No,
jobs?
That's okay, but I don't think that.
No, we're talking about walking over, like, you have five cars in the driveway every day of people that work there. They're picking something up, they're staying for a limited amount of time, they're going on there.
Right, but this person, however this came up, this construction person, I'm sure his construction guys aren't coming over here to say that to breathe with him for 8 hours.
I think
They're coming to go work someplace.
I think we need to have it. We need to revisit this to bring it. I think it needs to have a certain amount of limitations so that we're not burdening our streets in an excessive way.
Yeah.
But I think that it needs to be broadened to accept the fact that so many people work from home now.
Right.
So many different professions.
Like, the people working from home, the people running the business are different.
Well,
People that work from home sometimes work for the company.
Right,
That's a totally different thing than people that are running the business out of their
Right,
home.
but there
Very
are
different.
concessions as far as the amount of space that they can have for their business in their home.
30%.
30%, right. Oh,
So I
sorry.
think it's a mistake, and we should say that they can't be located in New York.
What?
It says in the law that you can't use more than 30% of the first floor for your business, but it should say and no other space.
Okay, I mean, I think, you know what, let's just, if we're all in agreement, let's revisit this,
I think we need more discussion. Yeah,
okay?
I totally.
Do you want to, can you write some kind of proposed reasonable draft of this that is, reflects, I don't want to stop people from being able to have a livelihood. But I think that we should have, and I think that we should open this up so that it doesn't feel prejudicial to just this group of people.
Totally agree.
Um, And it needs to be reasonable as far as street traffic. I wouldn't want 16 vans parked in the driveway next to me. So, all right. So I'll tell Mike he can still have his guys come and get their paycheck tomorrow.
Yeah.
This is table.
That's okay.
Okay, thank you. Next meeting, he's done. All right. Oh my goodness. Open items. We're almost done. Open items for the board to review from the village attorney.
So the only, we've had a couple of things in court. Court has slowed down a little bit. I think we actually don't have any building violations that are open right now. We have a very small handful of tickets, parking tickets that we're dealing with. And we did have one person do community service. I'm not sure what the service was that they did.
I know what it was. Because he had to come in and we had to figure something out.
But we did some, I don't know what the deal was with the guy, but
No, but it was good.
It seemed like the fairest thing to do with
Yeah.
community service, and he was very minimal.
He was a very nice guy.
Yeah, very nice person. I think he lives in the village and he's a student or something.
Yeah.
Not a young person. So that was going okay. We have a judgment in the village that we're trying to enforce and collect. And I mentioned to the mayor the other day an enforcement action that I'm going to take, which I wasn't able to do as of now, but I will be doing it tomorrow, doing another filing in the county clerk's office.
You got the information, right?
Yes,
Okay. All right. All right, holy cow, I think we're done with this part of the meeting. All right, so I'm going to adjourn the work session at 7:48 p.m. Do we plow on or does anybody need a break? Plow through. All right, let's keep going. All right, so I'm going to call the business meeting to order at 7:49. Do I have to so moved when I do this?
Yes.
Oh, so motion to adjourn the previous one. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion to call the business meeting to order. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. That's 7:49. All right. Shall we do the pledge? All right. Jeremy, you lead it.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, announcements. Mayor's Park on the north side of California Beach area has been renamed to Newfield Park in honor of 45 years of service by our longtime beloved clerk and resident Joe Newfield. That was initiated by previous Mayor Dee Parrish and the board who was with her at that time. Okay. Poquat Community Association's last outdoor movie night of the season will be tomorrow, September 8th at California Park. The Poquat Community Association will be hosting its Halloween event on Saturday, October 21st at Trustees Park beginning at 4 p.m. Volunteers interested in participating in the trunk or treat should email Poquat Community Association at gmail.com. Reports, public safety.
Public safety report from July 6th through September 7th. House checks, we had 9. Record controls, we had 6. Incident reports, we had 17. Walking wounds, we had 10. Quality of life, warning 0. Special event permits, 39. Walking tickets, 4. Field appearance tickets, 0.
Okay, thank you. Ron, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, excellent. Sorry that took so long. Do you have a treasurer's report for us?
Yes. Well, you all got the numbers, and for the most part, the ups and downs come out all, more or less even. Most of it is timing differences, except for the road work. And we haven't brought in monies out of the reserves yet, but we could do that later in the year. There are a few things that show up in here that we are working on the question of what the amount of CHIPS income is going to be for the year. We had 20,000 in income and 30,000 in expense. So that's normally, I think, those should be the same number. But in any case, for the most part, things are pretty steady right now through August. There are some adjustments that we're working on with the auditors. One in particular that will, I believe, impact to the good side the amount of balance in our reserve funds. I'm waiting to talk about it with the audit manager. But other than that, most of our adjustments are not major. That one could be major, and it will be a real a push to our reserves. But I hate to say too much about it until I go over it with the auditors,
Okay.
which hopefully will be done within the next week or so, and I'll send out an email to everybody and let you know the result of that.
Okay, well, we're looking forward to that. Is this, Jess, is this the taxpayer balance summary? Was this something with Ron, or is this just for
No.
us? This
Yeah,
is,
it's just you guys.
okay, so this isn't something I should be announcing?
No.
Okay. All right, so this is for the board. That's the taxpayer. That's what's to the village. Okay. All right.
Excuse me, unless anyone has any questions, I'll be signing out, but
Right. Okay, you can, that's fine, Ron. Anybody have any questions for Ron?
This time.
Not at this time. Okay, yeah, sign out.
thank you very much. Have a good night, all.
See you later,
Ron.
Ron.
See you next time.
Court report, Jacqueline, do you have anything?
Yeah, so, well, for August, there were 0 cases open, there was 1 case closed, there was no money taken in the month of August, and the total to date is $2,475.
Okay. Public hearings, we have none. Public comments, does anybody? Dave? You need to, just to reiterate to everybody who's here, you need to announce who you are, where you live, and then speak.
Dave Pappas, Chestnut Avenue.
Okay?
This is not a complaint,
Okay?
it's a concern. I want to preface this by saying I am a great admirer of 4th of July fireworks. But the 4th of July fireworks that we had in the village this year was totally illegal. And it subjected the village to potential tremendous liability. The state law is very clear on this. Those fireworks, and I inspected them, were professional grade. They can only be used and handled by someone who is a licensed state pyrotechnician with a current license and liability insurance and permits from the state, the county, the township, and probably the village, none of which were in place. Thank God there was no accident. But had there been one, the liability would vastly be in excess of whomever the village resident was who purchased and set off the fireworks, which would then subject the village and every resident in it to potentially, in our litigious society, tens of millions of dollars of damages.
Okay, is that
Very
accurate?
simply resolved. I'm all
Is
in
that
favor.
accurate?
Hire a technician. Whoever wants to do this next year, whoever is going out of their own pocket, if it was a resident, purchase all of those fireworks, also hire a licensed pyrotechnician.
Okay. I don't
And
disagree
I
with you.
think the village should purchase a single-purpose, standalone, one-time only liability policy.
The village didn't, just to clarify, the village, it wasn't a village event,
I understand that,
right?
but I happen to know that village officers were aware that it was going to happen. Intentional blindness is not a defense.
Okay. I don't know how you would happen to know any of that, but that's okay.
I keep my ears open and I walk around and I know who was talking about what was going to happen.
So, Joe, is there a village liability if a resident, like the one that we're receiving complaints about, shoots off fireworks? Does that fall on the village in terms of tens of millions of dollars? How does that work?
Well,
Because
So as a matter of my office policy, I won't comment on, I won't confirm liability in a public meeting. Can talk to you about it, but I can tell you that it's not, if an activity is illegal, it's something that should be viewed seriously by the village.
and it is, but let me ask you a question again. Like we have a situation with fireworks, we have no way to substantiate it, police it. So then how does the village protect itself in a situation such as that?
The
Preemptively.
Suffolk County Police would be called as a person by either by public safety if they're on duty,
Okay.
or a public official. And secondly, there is illegal activity should probably not be allowed to, that we have knowledge of, should not be allowed to occur on village property.
Okay.
It's not village property, right?
I thought we were talking about California Park. I'm sorry.
I'm talking in general that we've had a fireworks problem all summer, and Dave's and we continue to have it. And Dave's pointing out that this could be a liability. My issue is that I've called Suffolk County Police. I've spoken to code enforcement. We as a village are very limited in how we can police this. So I'm certainly not purchasing a pyrotechnic license.
No, my concern is with the 4th of July type display.
Okay.
I understand there is a private problem with two gentlemen, and they're not kids, who have a habit of walking the beach and then through the village at night, setting off fireworks.
Okay.
I understand, I could be wrong, but I understand that they were identified and spoken to and have since stopped.
Okay. I don't know of that, but that's good.
Because there haven't been any fireworks at night on the beach or walking through the streets the way they used to in months.
Okay. Well, I do know
My
that.
concern was massive professional pyrotechnics
Hmm.
that were fired off for a half hour on California Beach. That subjects the village.
Well, there were other issues later on, so we do have intentions of having more code enforcement on next year on 4th of July. So hopefully that will mitigate the situation.
I mean, I like fireworks. They're great. They're fun. But do it properly.
Mhm.
Make sure it's a licensed pyrotechnician who is insured. And depending on how large his insurance is, New York State only requires $1 million.
Okay.
Some child gets injured, it's going to be in the tens of millions.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
it will fall back on the village.
Okay, I appreciate it.
I love fireworks. They're great to watch. They're fun. So let's just do it.
We'll all just
Yeah.
go to
And so that
we'll all just go to Port Jeff and watch them over there where it's a little
The
safer.
village isn't carrying this burden.
Yeah. Okay. Thank
And
you.
it wasn't a secret. That's all I'm saying. The village knew.
Thank you for your comments.
Anybody else? Good night. Hey, Rachel.
So, my name is Rachel.
No, you don't have to stand up. You can just say your name and where you live.
Okay. My name is Rachel Thayer. I live at 14 Washington Street. So I'm speaking on behalf of my cousin Jennifer Chernicky tonight. She wrote a letter, so I'm just going to read from my phone so I don't get it down. My name is Jennifer Chernicky, granddaughter of John Joe Thayer, who served this beautiful village as trustee and park commissioner from 1985 through 1991. Many of you may not recognize his name, but those who knew him knew that he loved and deeply cared for this community and our family's rich history for at least 8 to 9 years generations within the village of Hopewell. He knew that his and your roles as community leaders were important and often thankless. You and he chose to oversee the members of this historic village with care, respect, and integrity. The decisions that you make today will matter in 32 years, albeit those leaders may not know your name. Your predecessors 32 years ago deeply cared about this community such as you do now. In mid-October of 1991, my grandfather passed away. In that same month, on October 24th, almost a year to the 32 years to the day, the Board of Trustees convened at the very spot that you are sitting in today. Mayor Jerry Plank started a moment of silence for my grandfather and subsequently made a motion and was seconded by the village of Hopewell and named the parkland consisting of the village around us, around the village hall and trustee park in honor of John Thayer and all trustees. Today, almost 32 years later, his granddaughters are requesting that this be honored by placing items such as a plaque, engraved stone, or such memory stating that the words in record in honor of John Thayer and all trustees in the parkland. This is not only for him, but for all trustees, past, present, and future, who tirelessly give their time and love to this village, including those sitting before me and those who are not here today. We just want to thank you for your care, respect, and ultimately your integrity. Thank you so much.
So when was this? When did this?
In October 24th of 1991, the same month that my grandfather passed away, they announced it in a newsletter that was sent out to the village.
Do you have a copy of it?
I do have a copy online that I can send over.
Oh,
I believe it's also in record here in the village.
Okay, so send it. I'd like to see it and we can talk about it.
100%.
Yeah, definitely. That was really nice. Very well written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very well read.
Yeah, very well read and very well written. So send us the information. So what do you, and what is, I mean, you're looking for a plaque?
Something of a plaque, just stating my grandfather's name and then all trustees as well. just for a memory of the dedication and livelihood of the village as well as the rest of the family.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Send me the information so we can look at it and talk about it. Okay.
I will send it to you by end of day tomorrow.
Okay. Cool. All right. Any other public comment?
Anyone online?
Anyone online? No. No one
No
online.
call-ins?
Caller? No. I think we're caller one. All right. So that's it. Let's go on to resolutions. Okay, ready?
Going round table?
We're round tabling. See you guys later. Bye, Thayers.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Rachel.
coming. Resolution number 09-2023-1. Resolution adopting September 7th, 2023 agenda as printed. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Resolution number 09-2023-2, resolution accepting the monthly reports from September 7th, 2023. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Resolution number 09-2023-3, resolution adopting the minutes from the July 6, 2023 work session of the Board of Trustees meeting. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
I'm supposed to say that. All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 09-2023-4, resolution adopting the minutes from the July 6, 2023 business session of the Board of Trustees meeting. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 09-2023-5, resolution adopting the minutes from the August 2nd, 2023 special meeting of the Board of Trustees meeting. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 09-2023-6, resolution adopting the minutes from the August 24th, 2023 special meeting of the Board of Trustees meeting. So moved.
All in favor?
Aye. Resolution number 09-2023-7, resolution approving estimate from Poly Products to install Park 50 cables ×2 in the amount of $1,256.47 each. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 09-2023-8, resolution to approve estimate from Precision Enterprises Incorporated for fiber fill for Trustees Park Playground in the amount of $1,050. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 09-2023-9, resolution to approve estimate from Precision Enterprises, Inc. for mulch for Trustees Park in the amount of $490. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I was just looking back at that. Sorry. There were two different things.
Yeah.
One for fiber.
One was for fiber
and then
fill
the
and
mulch.
the mulch was for the garden area.
Got it. Okay. Resolution number 09-2023-10, resolution to approve salary increase for code enforcement officers from $19.50 to $20 an hour effective June 1st, 2023. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Resolution number 09-2023-11, resolution to approve salary increase for Chief Code Enforcement Officer Frank Schaefer and from $27 to $28 an hour effective June 1st, 2023. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Resolution 09-2023-12, resolution to approve changes in building fees as approved by the board. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 09-2023-13, resolution authorizing the Board of Trustees to increase the village boat mooring fees from 75 to, we said 100, correct? From 75 to 100 effective January 1st, 2024. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 09-2023-14, resolution approving cleaning services at Village Hall with Pals Cleaning, Inc. in the amount of $120 first time and $80 per week effective 8/1/23 through 8/31/24, and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Resolution number 09-2023-15, resolution approving estimate from Hurricane Tree Service for emergency removal of down branches on Van Brunt Manor Road in the amount of $600. So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 09-2023-16, resolution approving estimate from Hurricane Tree Service for emergency removal of down branches, decayed tree on Sharon Avenue in the amount of $900. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 09-2023-17, resolution to schedule the Village of Hopewell Board of Trustees work session meeting beginning at 6 p.m. on October 12th, 2023, with the business meeting to follow immediately. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's do the voucher report.
Sure.
Jess?
Do I do the First National Bank also, or just undo that?
What's the First National Bank?
That's what we got credit.
I'll do the whole thing. All right.
Yeah, run through the whole
We got First National Bank of Omaha. We had a credit of 20 cents. Then Home Depot for a total of $695. Web iPower for $1,094.94 for a total of $1,789.74. Next up, we have as of July 13th, we have Ace Hardware in the amount of $168.18. Call Ahead Corp in the amount of $270. Construction Technologies LLC in the amount of $195.15. Newsday in the amount of $180. Optimum in the amount of $135.37. We had the Scova membership dues for 2023-2024 for $750. Times Beacon Record in the amount of $131.05. Transforming Solutions Corp in the amount of $1,644.45. And Wex Bank in the amount of $189.14. In the amount of $3,663.34. Next up, we have Transforming Solutions for $1,644.45. And then we have.
I like next up. I like next
It's
up we
exciting,
have,
right?
yeah, you make it like it feels good, right? Feels like an auction.
Yeah.
I was about to bid on something.
I know.
Just want to make sure we're
Next
right.
up, come on, Jess. What's next?
Okay, so we've got Canon Financial Services Incorporated in the amount of $129. Lonsdale Testing Corp in the amount of $147. Print Solutions LLC in the amount of $668.28. Verizon Wireless in the amount of $98.41. And Wellsback Electric of Long Island Inc. in the amount of $339.40 for a total of $1,382.09. Next up. Axe Creatives in the amount of $75. Paul Edelson in the amount of $250. Elite Auto in the amount of $105.94. PSEG Long Island in the amount of $464.93. PSEG Long Island again in the amount of $41.36. Salerno Brokerage Corp in the amount of $830 and $29,910.08 for a total of $30,740.08. Staples in the amount of $15.09 and $74.37 for a total of $89.46 for a total of $31,766.77. And we made it to August. So we've got Axe Creatives for $50. Big Bang Cleaning Services for $400. Construction Technologies LLC in the amount of $195.15. Econo Signs Inc. for a total of $219.14. Hurricane Tree Experts for $2,500. Optimum for $135.37. Precision Enterprises for $1,540. Joseph Prokop in the amount of $1,172.50. PSEG in the amount of $388.41. PSEG again for $14.14. Small Business Management Solutions Inc. in the amount of $572.98. And Winter Brothers Hauling of Long Island for $10,788.98. for a total of $17,975.69. Next, we have React Pest Control in the amount of $325.88, and Sinorama in the amount of only a deposit was paid at $518.06, for a total of $1,363.
The new sign on the approach.
That's the one, the entryway one.
Yeah.
We were replacing the one that got vandalized, but then we held off because I wanted to change the speed limit. But we're gonna have to, yeah, we're gonna have to do something with the other one too.
Okay. So, Ace Hardware for $15.82, Axe Creatives for $137.50, Call Ahead Corp for $330, General Code Publishers Corp for $1,195, Hurricane Tree Experts for $3,500. This check was voided. Organically Green Horticultural Services for the amount of $225.00. Sinorama, this should actually, this check was voided. It should have been on.
The hurricane one should have been 1,000.
Yes, so that check was voided. And a new one was reissued if you look on August 24th.
Right,
So
the following, yeah. Got it.
Because it was issued, she can't take it off. It
Got it.
still shows on the report.
Okay.
I was up to the Sinorama. That check was also voided for $518. It was apparently issued the next week again. Taylor Rental was also voided for $1,618.22 for an incorrect invoice. And then Winter Brothers Hauling of Long Island again for $455 for a total of $7,995.19. And then we have the First National Bank again. This time it was for a total of $200.26. You want like an itemized?
No, that's incorrect. So 68.6 and then you list the extra.
Okay, so then we have Canon Financial Services Incorporated for $129. Paul Edelson in the amount of $250. The Hurricane Tree Experts check for $2,500. This is the fresh one.
Right.
Stan's Towing for $100. Taylor Rental for a total of $1,628.42. This was the corrected check from the previous week. Wells Fargo Electric of Long Island Incorporated, $732.20. And Wex Bank for Gulf, $155.46 for a total of $5,495.80.
Sweet. That's it. It's a wrap. Okay, hold on. Let me wrap it.
Yeah.
Resolution. Is that we're good, right?
Yeah.
Resolution 09-2023-18. Resolution approving all checks per the voucher report. So moved. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn at 8:17 p.m. So moved. All in favor?
Aye.
Done. Goodbye. Thank you, callers. There's no one there. 8:17.